Is Jarren Duran turning the corner after a big home run against the Orioles on Monday night?
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Gabby Maljanian, former ESPN social media associate and current host of the Boston Balling podcast as well. And I'm here to bring you the latest in all things Boston Red Sox, Monday through Friday, straight to your favorite podcast feed. And the best part, it's all free. So make sure that you tune in because Locked On is here for you every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is around the corner. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now. I know, can you believe that it's already football season? You know what that also means? We are getting closer and closer to playoff baseball. The Red Sox have only about a month left of the regular season before the playoffs start. So things are going to be getting really serious over this next month as the Red Sox look to clinch a playoff spot. That started with a big win last night over the Baltimore Orioles. Going to be talking about some of the standouts in that game, as well as what to expect moving forward. And this Red Sox season has been an absolute whirlwind. I mean, there's really no better way to describe it than that. There has just been some very high highs and some very low lows. And throughout the course of the season, there were always times where I wouldn't feel confident in the Red Sox after they go through a tough loss. So, for example, they went through a tough loss on Sunday night against the Yankees. Yes, they obviously had won the first three of that 4-game series, and that was great, but tough loss on Sunday. And the Red Sox of the last few years haven't always been good at bouncing back after that type of loss, and they continue to play bad baseball. And this team has been resilient all season long. And last night was yet another example of that. The Red Sox won 4-3 in comeback fashion, thanks to the hero, Jarren Duran. I'm going to be diving into him a little bit on today's show. And while we think about where the Red Sox are at right now, Jarren Duran has not exactly been one of the biggest contributors offensively. Last season, he had a great year offensively, was All-Star Game MVP, was being talked about very lightly for a little while in MVP conversations. He really just did it all because he's athletic. So obviously he brings his speed. That's something that's always been one of the biggest assets of his game. He brought solid defense, at least durable defense. And his offense last year was very good. But he regressed this season. And one of the biggest reasons for that is because he has been in a bad habit of chasing pitches well outside the zone. He's only in the 30th percentile in chase percentage this year and 35th percentile in strikeout percentage. So because of the fact that he's just been chasing a lot of pitches, it's led to him ultimately striking out a ton. And that has been the biggest thing that has caused him trouble on offense this year. Some of his other metrics are good. He's in the 88th percentile in average exit velo, 86th percentile in bat speed, and average in walk percentage, 53rd percentile there. So he's walking at a pace that could be better, could be worse. So it's not like he has a lack of patience at the plate. He's just not selecting the right pitches to swing at. And that's been a huge problem for him. And even lately, he has been struggling in the month of August. He's had an inconsistent season overall, of course, with a 762 OPS in March and April, a 697 OPS in May, and 701 OPS in June. And while he has been up and down in terms of his OPS, it's more that 29% whiff percentage, which is up from 24.8% last year, that has really caused him a ton of trouble and hasn't really allowed him to show a lot of consistency on offense. In the month of August, He, prior to Monday night's game, went 15 for 71, which is a 211 batting average with a 345 on base percentage, 324 slugging percentage, and 669 OPS in 20 games. And in that time span, he had just 1 home run and 5 doubles. His slump came after an impressive July when he actually recorded a 1.094 OPS and 17 extra base hits in 95 plate appearances. So July was very clearly his best month of the season. And then he dropped back down in August. And Alex Cora talked a little bit about his struggles prior to last night's game, and he said chasing pitches down in the zone. He did miss some good pitches yesterday against the Yankees when we put pressure on them. So it's been tough to see him try to navigate his offensive ability this year compared to what it was at last year. He's 28 years old, obviously in the 88th percentile in average exit velo, like I mentioned, which is 92.1 miles an hour, and 86th percentile in bat speed at 74.7. But he has a 30.5% chase percentage, ranking in the 30th percentile among major league hitters. So those are notable differences. Alex Cora said, I was just looking in our system and he's hitting the ball hard. The expected numbers are good. He's not chasing as much. Just one of those that he'll be okay. Just got to be patient, and he needs to be patient too. Despite a down year, Duran is still third among Red Sox players in F4 with a 3.1 behind only Garrett Crochet, who's at a 5.3, and Alex Bregman, who's at a 3.5. Duran led the team in F4 last year with a 6.8 when he finished 8th for the American League MVP. So F4 basically meaning wins above replacement. So essentially meaning the Red Sox, if you round that, are getting about 3 extra wins with Jarren Duran than they would with a replacement level player. It's high with Garrett Crochet and Alex Bregman, which makes sense. Garrett Crochet especially, best player on the team, contributes a ton. The Red Sox are basically getting an extra win every 5th day because of him. But Jarren Duran, the fact that he is one of those players that's leading the team in wins above replacement shows that despite the fact that he's been struggling and inconsistent offensively this year, he's still very important to the team. Why is that? Because of the versatility that he showcases when he's out there. Like I mentioned before, the fact that he has very strong speed, good defense, and can be a good hitter at times too. So because of the overall ability that Duran brings, he's always going to be somebody whose wins above replacement is going to be notable for this Boston Red Sox team. It's harder with players who have one skill set that they bring to the game to have a wins above replacement number that's incredibly high. That's why, for example, when the Red Sox traded Rafael Devers, his wins above replacement was roughly 3 to 4 as well. And that's notable because there wasn't a whole lot that Rafael Devers did. He was a great hitter, one of the best hitters overall in the sport. But what else did he provide other than his offense? Because even when he was playing third base for the Red Sox, he had a negative wins above replacement. So his offense was all he was bringing to the table. Whereas with Jarren Duran, because he's a versatile talent, he's always going to bring more than the average player might bring to the table. And that's notable because it shows the impact that a guy like that brings and the importance of having a guy like Jarren Duran on the team to be able to be a versatile talent. Now, he was the hero for the Red Sox on Monday night. The Red Sox were down 3-1, and he crushed a 3-run homer to put the Red Sox on top 4-3. He came to the plate with 2 runners on because Connor Wong and Roman Anthony each hit singles to begin the inning, and then Alex Bregman flew out, and it was Duran's turn. The lefty jumped on a 1-0 splitter over the plate and deposited it in center field seats. The 407-foot blast would have been a home run in 15 of 30 major league stadiums. I mean, this ball was crushed when he deposited that thing. So he talked about it a little bit afterwards, the home run. He said, I guess it kind of helped in our favor that we faced Sugano so recently, and we were able to kind of make an adjustment and come back and face him again. Credit to our hitting staff. They're always on us about making good adjustments, and we made some good ones tonight. So because they had seen him previously in the Red Sox most recent series against the Orioles. They were able to see Sugano's style, what his best pitches are, and they were able to take a different approach at the plate this time, and that obviously worked for Jarren, who, like I said, had been scuffling a lot in August. This home run was his 13th of the season and his first since August 4th. I'm hoping that this serves as a turning point for Duran in terms of consistency. We have yet to see him be crazy consistent at the plate this year, but maybe now that he got this big home run that ended up being the game-winning home run because the Red Sox didn't salvage their lead after that, hopefully that gives him the confidence boost that he needs to continue on this path offensively. Just got to have better swing decisions, but a lot of the skill set that he needs is definitely there, just not having as great of a season productivity-wise on offense. But we'll have to see how things go down with him. Just remember that Jarren Duran is one of the most versatile players in baseball. So there will obviously always be some value that he'll provide, even if it's not always a strong bat. But we definitely need his bat to keep up. So hopefully he turns things around over this next month. And hopefully that home run served as an opportunity for him to really recognize what worked for him, how he was able to actually crush that baseball and the approach that he took in that at-bat to make himself more consistent. Now, obviously, I'm not asking for home runs every time he steps up to the plate, but more quality at-bats, more good, strong contact to drive in runners, because there have been so many situations this year where Duran came up to the plate with runners in scoring position and failed to drive them in. So hopefully this serves as something that could fuel some confidence in him, but he was certainly the hero of this game with that big go-ahead home run to give the Red Sox a much-needed win over Baltimore after last week's struggles. And another player that really contributed to that was Garrett Whitlock, who has been nasty for the Red Sox over the last couple months. I'm going to be discussing him a little bit next. If you like sports betting and you want to get more involved, or even if you haven't tried it before and want to get involved, FanDuel is 100% the place for you. And also today is FanDuel Futures Day, which is a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel is a great way to win lots of money. I'm telling you, I've experienced it firsthand. You might as well download the app today as well. The Red Sox recorded a big win over the Orioles last night, and they just struggled in a 2-game series against the Orioles at home last week. So going into this series, people were really hoping that the Red Sox could get some revenge on Baltimore. Still a long series remaining, 3 more games, as this was a 4-game series. So they still need to keep that foot on the gas and not take it off. But this was a good way to start the series with a 4-3 win. And there were a few people who contributed. Roman Anthony kicked things off with a leadoff homer for the Red Sox to give them an early lead, but then they went down 3-1 and were able to rally back and win 4-3 thanks to a big Jarren Duran home run. Another player who contributed a lot to this win was Garrett Whitlock, who came in to pitch in the 8th inning and gave up just 1 hit with no runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. So it was funny because he ended up giving up a leadoff double to Gunnar Henderson, the Orioles' most dangerous hitter, but then struck out the side after that to shut down the Orioles and keep it a 4-3 game. And then Aroldis Chapman came in and, as always, took care of business in the 9th. So that was all beautiful to see, but Garrett Whitlock over the last couple months has been very dominant for this Red Sox team. Now, you mentioned Aroldis Chapman and think about him and how dominant he's been in the closer role. In his last 33 appearances, he's thrown 30 innings with a .3 ERA and 43 strikeouts. Garrett Whitlock over his last 21 appearances has pitched 18.2 innings with a .48 ERA and 23 strikeouts. This guy has unlocked beast mode, and it's been so fun to watch. when he took care of business in last night's game, he gave a little smile to Andrew Bailey after he escaped that mini jam. He allowed that leadoff double and was so nervous about not giving up that run because that would have been the tying run. So he had to pitch the rest of the inning being very careful because the tying run was on second base. And he did just that. He struck out the next 3 hitters, and he was super excited when he walked off the field. We saw him give pitching coach Andrew Bailey a little bit of a smile, which he did talk about a little bit afterwards. And he said, that one really didn't have to do with the moment. That was just me and him like smiling because he always jokes with me that I never show emotion. And he's always kind of checking like, are you okay? Or why didn't you show emotion? And so now it's just more of an inside joke that like when I don't show emotion, I'll give him a little smile and he's like, hey, there's your emotion. So he was ultimately just having fun with it, but was definitely super excited about the job he was able to do in that 8th inning. He struck out Ryan Mountcastle looking, then punched out Kobe Mayo and Colton Cowser, both swinging after Henderson's leadoff double. He's allowed just 2 earned runs in his past 20 2/3 innings. It's crazy. He said it felt good. I feel like the last couple of times where the guy started on second with no outs, he's ended up scoring. So I'm kind of glad that I finally had that, where it sucks that I put him in that position, but at least this time I didn't let him score. The Red Sox ended up using 4 relievers after opener Brennan Bernardino threw a scoreless first inning. Then Richard Fitz came in and allowed 3 runs in 4 innings, but left with right biceps tightness. Steven Matz came in and pitched a gem, scoreless 6th and 7th innings. And then Chapman fired a perfect 9th inning after Whitlock scoreless 8th. So the Red Sox bullpen definitely did its job once again in this game. Whitlock said, I think we try and attack it the same way we normally would any other day, just kind of ready at all times. And so I think that's kind of how everybody had the mindset today, is knowing that like, hey, no traditional starters, so we're going to be ready at all times. So every Red Sox reliever was expected to keep their head on a swivel and be ready to go in and pitch at any time if need be. And with Garrett Whitlock being so dominant over the last couple months, this is exactly what happens when you don't force him to be a starter. The Red Sox went through this phase where they wanted to make Garrett Whitlock a starting pitcher, and they had him throw out of the rotation. Then he ended up missing most of the season last year with an injury, and it doesn't feel coincidental that he's now been healthy again when the Red Sox haven't tried to force him into being a starter and have kept him in the bullpen. I've always said that he is much better suited in the pen. His best stuff gets thrown when he's in the bullpen. He pitches with so much more confidence, and he's a great guy to pitch in short stints, 1 to 2 innings. That's a great role for him. He's been fantastic as the setup man for Aroldis Chapman this year. And it's fair to say now that the experiment with trying out Jarren Duran as a starter is, or at least should be, over. He is a reliever. That's what he is. Garrett Whitlock is somebody who the Red Sox can rely on and high leverage out of the pen, and that's how things should stick. I really like a lot of what I've seen from Garrett Whitlock this year. 91st percentile in chase percentage, 92nd percentile in whiff percentage. He's throwing tons of great pitches outside the zone that people are swinging at. His slider is nasty. He throws it 27% of the time, and he used it a lot when he struck out those Orioles batters in the 8th inning. They were chasing it even when it wasn't in the zone. It's a lethal pitch for him, and it's something that he can make work throughout the rest of his career. It's a great pitch. He also has a sinker that he uses 47% of the time, a changeup 20% of the time, and a sweeper 5% of the time. That is his primary pitch arsenal, but the slider for sure is a lethal pitch for him, and it fools so many players. He's in the 75th percentile in fastball velo and 75th percentile in average exit velocity. One notable stat for him, 88th percentile in strikeout percentage. He just gets lots of swings and misses, primarily because naturally, if your chase percentage is very high, it will lead to strikeouts due to lots of swings and misses coming. He's also in the 78th percentile in ground ball percentage, so he's not allowing a lot of hard hit balls this year. And this is where things do get a little bit tricky. He's in just the 34th percentile in walk percentage. So he does have to look out for that a little bit. He does have some problems sometimes with walking guys, and that's something he really is going to need to get in check moving forward, because your high leverage guys that you have pitching towards the end of close games, you cannot afford to give guys free passes in those games at the end of the season or in the playoffs. You just can't. When it's a game you have to win, you cannot be giving them free passes. So that's something I do worry about a little bit with Whitlock, is the fact that sometimes his command isn't 100% all there, but he looked great in this game last night. He threw 22 pitches with 16 of those going for strikes. So definitely effective. Gunnar Henderson is just a great overall hitter. And the impact that Garrett Whitlock has had on this Red Sox team after his recent dominance has been huge, because going into the season, this bullpen certainly had question marks, and he was one of those question marks because the question surrounding him was going to be, okay, he missed a lot of the season last year. What kind of pitcher are we going to get? Are we going to get a guy who portrays a lot of dominance? Or are we going to get the guy who was struggling before he got hurt? And when the Red Sox made the decision to keep him in the bullpen and they decided they weren't going to experiment with him as a starter anymore, that's when I started to really have a good feeling that, oh, okay, Garrett Whitlock is going to have a strong season, because they're not trying to move him around, change up his warm-up routine, make him a starter, make him a reliever. They picked a lane for him and they stuck with it. And that's where we're at now. And it has made a tremendous difference for this Red Sox team, especially with the fact that Justin Slayton has been missing a lot of time with an injury. And he is another high leverage reliever who also would likely be the setup man in Whitlock's place if he were healthy, with Whitlock pitching the 7th inning, Slayton in the 8th, and Chapman in the 9th, or maybe they rotate between Whitlock and Slayton in that 8th inning role. But because of the fact that they have this really high leverage arm in Justin Slayton, who hasn't been able to pitch for the team over the last couple months because of recovering from an injury, the fact that Garrett Whitlock has been so reliable in that 8th inning role has made the Red Sox bullpen very dangerous, and it's made this bullpen very difficult for opposing hitters to figure out, and it has truly helped the Red Sox win lots of games. I'm a huge fan of Whitlock, and with Aroldis Chapman being that 9th inning, no doubt punch out guy, having a guy in there in the 8th inning that you can feel confident in, that can hold the lead and set it up nicely for Chapman, is a relief if you're a Red Sox fan. So you look at the high leverage guys on this Red Sox roster right now, and besides Chapman and Whitlock, you have Justin Wilson and Greg Weisser, who have been used in high leverage a lot. Also, Brennan Bernardino 100% could be trusted in high leverage. He's been dominant all season long as well for the Red Sox. So you have a good list of high leverage arms here that can be utilized. And even Steven Matz is a guy who potentially could be used in more high leverage situations as well. So we'll have to see how they continue to utilize him. But the reason I feel really confident in that group of pitchers is because of the season that Garrett Whitlock has been able to have. And he has been able to really turn things around in terms of his ability to be super effective and show the Red Sox that the bullpen is where he belongs, and that the whole experiment with starting him as a starter and trying to turn him into that and have him pitch longer stints is just not going to be as effective. He has amazing stuff, really scary, lethal stuff. Just utilize him the right way, and now we see what he's doing. So hopefully they continue to keep him in the bullpen permanently, because that's definitely where he belongs. But coming up, Richard Fitts unfortunately had to exit the game with an injury, so I'm going to be discussing him a little bit next. First, though, I have an important request for you. Locked On wants to hear from you. We've put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and make your favorite podcast even better. This is your chance to tell us what you like, what you don't, and answer questions about our advertising. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes a survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, that's lockedonpodcast.com/survey. You can also find the link in the show notes. Thank you so much for helping us out. This really will be a game changer for the network and our ability to improve. You know what else is a game changer for you? 5-hour energy transfusion. It's time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-hour energy transfusion. This grape, ginger, and lime flavored shot brings the iconic taste of a golf course favorite to a non-alcoholic boost. Perfect for sinking birdies or making great memories with friends. It's a hole-in-one for your energy game. If you're playing golf in a 95-degree heat, this is perfect for you to keep that energy going and make sure you finish your golf game strong. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors. The grape ginger lime flavor of 5-hour energy transfusion gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without leaving the course or chasing down the beverage cart. Now you can amp up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for two to any golf tournament in the USA, excluding the Masters tournament. Tee up that trip. Visit FIVE-e-e-win.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Ends October 31st, 2025. Well, the Red Sox got another good win last night over the Baltimore Orioles. Got to keep that up. Winning this series would be more than ideal. Got to just keep the momentum going because every game matters now. We are in crunch time in the regular season, and the Red Sox need to win games if they want to clinch a playoff spot. So off to a good start with that as of last night. But unfortunately, some unfortunate events that occurred in that game. Richard Fitts had to exit that game prematurely, earlier for sure than the Red Sox would have wanted him to. He came into the game for Brennan Bernardino, who pitched the first inning, and then Richard Fitts came in after that. He left during the 6th inning with right biceps tightness. He had thrown one pitch in that inning, and then he looked down at his arm after throwing his first pitch, a 94.2 mile per hour outside fastball to Kobe Mayo. So at that point, manager Alex Cora and head athletic trainer Brandon Henry rushed to the mound and immediately replaced him with lefty Steven Matz. So people knew something was up because he looked like he was in pain in his arm. He said, felt a couple things in my warm-up pitches and just kind of pulling on the biceps a little bit. I kind of knew that my outing was coming to a close, so I just wanted to get through what I could, and I threw the first pitch of that inning and felt way worse than it did in the warm-ups. We're going to evaluate tomorrow, but I'm feeling pretty good about it. So he sounded optimistic when he was talking about it after the game. The 25-year-old who did receive the win in the game is not scheduled to undergo an MRI. He had strength testing done after leaving the game and felt normal. He said it was really encouraging with all the tests that we did today. We'll see how I feel tomorrow. It's probably going to be really sore, but hopefully the tests are just the same as they were tonight. That would be ideal. That would mean that he could continue to come back and pitch a lot quicker for the Red Sox. And this is definitely tough because if he's out for an extended period of time, then it's kind of back to the drawing board again when it comes to figure out who's going to start games every 5th day. Since the Red Sox have now decided that Walker Buehler is going to pitch out of the bullpen. That's the biggest reason why this start last night was so uncertain as to who was going to make it. So they decided to go with Brennan Bernardino as an opener and then bring in Fitts. And with Fitts pitching in the game, the Red Sox were hoping that he could be a consistent every 5th day starter moving forward until they figure out and finalize their playoff rotation. So obviously it's not ideal that he's dealing with an injury, but he doesn't think it's anything too serious. He entered the game in the 2nd inning, allowing 3 runs on 2 hits, 1 homer, and 3 walks while striking out 6 in 4+ innings. He also did hit a batter, so he didn't have this insanely good outing. He had 3 walks and 6 strikeouts also as part of it, 68 pitches that he threw with 44 strikes. But we do have to take the fact that he was in pain into consideration when evaluating this outing. He's 2-4 with a 5.0 ERA in 11 outings, with 10 of those being starts this season. Earlier in the year, he spent 40 games on the IL with a right pectoral strain. He said a lot of emotion just hit me in the sense of this is the 2nd time this year I'm having to come out for an injury. It didn't feel nearly as bad as it did early in the year with the pec, So that's where I kind of took a step back and like, okay, maybe this is a little bit better, but I never want to put the team in that position too, where guys are having to come in if they're cold and having to throw them in an impossible situation. So he felt kind of guilty about it, but obviously cannot blame yourself for an injury or being in some pain. That just is what it is. But he's going to see how he's feeling today, and the Red Sox are going to then decide where they need to go from here. If they need to sideline him again for an extended period of time or not. I know he would absolutely hate that, especially because he already missed time this season, as he mentioned. And then it's back to the drawing board for the Red Sox. Do they have Kyle Harrison come up and start? Do they give Peyton Tolley, who's a top prospect in AAA, the opportunity to make his debut for the Red Sox? Lots of options potentially of what the Red Sox could do here if Richard Fitts end up having to be placed on the IL. But the Red Sox are optimistic, hopeful that that doesn't happen. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But either way, the Red Sox are definitely going to be looking at the drawing board for options just in case they do need to bring somebody else in to pitch that fifth day, since Fitz is unknown right now. So we'll see once the news comes out what the deal is with him and if he's going to have to miss extended time or not. But thank you so much for tuning into the show and making it your first listen of every day. I truly cannot emphasize enough how much that means to me. It would not be here without all of the supporters. So thank you for continuing to make Locked On Red Sox your first listen of every single day. For your second listen, make sure to check out Locked On MLB Game Night, which is available on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. It's our local experts talking on a national scale about every game, every single night, all the way up until a World Series champion is crowned. It's a great show. Highly recommend checking it out next. As always, keep the faith, go Red Sox, and I'll catch you on the flip side.